I have no classes available for the month of, say, December.
Uh, for the most part, I try.
Okay.
So,
All right. I
and
just
then,
thought you were the one that said, okay, these are the times I have available. Let's see if we can schedule it for these times. But okay.
yeah, I usually do, which is why I need to sit down with you next week to go over some of the offices. So, and after our brief conversation, I know you and I just need to talk about some stuff.
Yes. Discuss all the wonderful things in life and all the
Exactly.
things that make us smile. Ah,
Exactly.
for everyone to enjoy.
Exactly.
Sending out positive vibes through the internet. Not vines, but vibes.
All right. So let's see here. Let's also
I'm going to need my super tea right now
captions.
to make me feel better.
Excellent.
You're not watching me drink my super tea.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that I select captions.
Okay.
I don't want to hide the captions. I want
Why is it on the top of the screen? It still says you're in practice session.
because we haven't started the webinar yet. If we
Oh,
had started the webinar, we'd have the participants. So because these are classes that uh, Cassie and her team started up,
mhm.
we, 2 minutes out, people are probably getting into the waiting room. Hopefully, going to start. That way, we can hit the ground running and stuff. So, but this gives us a chance to set everything up, right? So, what's nice about this webinar is that you can preset everything up, like your screens, your email address, your presentation, and then when we hit start, you can just hit the ground running.
Yeah.
So I would definitely share your screen if you want,
No,
or you
I
can
don't want to
wait.
share anything. It's
Well, you don't have to.
all mine.
You don't have to. All right, I'm going to hit the record button to record to this computer unless you want to.
I am
For
going
your
to put my phone aside away from me so that way it doesn't bother me.
and
Um,
then what I would do for you, Leo, is
yes.
because you have your own YouTube channel, go down below next to where it says raise your hand, hit record, and then say record to this computer. That way you can have your own recording.
Okay. Do you want to do that today?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Why
I'll
don't
hit.
you?
I'm shy. I'm so shy. I'm very
Well, I
introverted.
mean, again, to develop your YouTube audience, to even review some of the stuff that you went over, because it's always nice to see that. And again, as a trainer, you want to be able to have these types of videos to be able to do that. And I'm going to hit. So I'm recording for myself. Are you recording for you?
Record on this computer.
There you go.
There we go. And
And
then
now,
we can start
and
the
then,
webinar.
do you have everything up?
Yes, I think.
Okay. So whenever you're ready, we can begin and we can watch people and I'll watch the questions for you.
Getting started now.
Mm-hmm.
Please stand by. Waiting for the participants to roll in.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. I think we have 38 scheduled to join us today.
Right. And we just have now Ken. How you doing, Ken? Hi, Mary. Welcome. Let me make sure I have the chat. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome, Kim, John, Parker. Welcome to today's class on zipForms 101 or Introduction to zipForms. I am your co-host, Anthony. Just a quick introduction of who I am. My name is Anthony. I work here at Orange County Realtors. Been here now for a little over 20 years. Started off in the MLS department. Guaranteed, I'll speak to you as well as my colleague Leo will speak to you about rules, regulations, violations, all that fun stuff. What both Leo and I are part of is the outreach program. And what the outreach program is designed for is to give you training on all your tools and products. So real quickly, again, I am joined by my colleague today, Leo, who is our main trainer today on zipForms. Leo, can you introduce yourself to the audience here? Welcome, Cassie and Kim.
Well, good morning, everyone. Yes, I'm Leo Luera with the Orange County Realtors. I've been with the association for 15 years. I started off in membership and then quickly rose up to become the super specialist. And much to the credit to Anthony, he helped me quite a bit during that transition. And then he also helped me become a great super trainer, hence the reason why I have this delicious cup of tea to signify my training abilities.
Excellent. Just yeah, no brownie points for you. You're still getting coal in your stockings. So what we're going to do today, everybody, is number one, the webinar is being recorded. So everybody attending today will get a copy of today's recording. If you want a copy of Leo's presentation, even though we are going to be modifying it just a bit after today, if you want a copy of the how-to presentation, just send us a quick email and we can take it from there. So Leo, if you will, share your screen. And by the way, we are again recording, so please ask questions. I will be monitoring the chat, and feel free to stop us if we go over something too quickly, and I'll read off the question and we'll show you how to do that. Okay. And real quickly, do we have anybody that's not ever logged into zipForms before or even know what zipForms is?
And if you don't know, it's okay. You know,
It looks
you're
like
among
we have
people
one
here.
person.
Okay,
So John
welcome.
and Hannah, welcome. So real quickly, for those of you who don't know what zipForms is, zipForms real quickly is a free CAR, California Association of Realtors member benefit. And what this tool allows you to do is to put together your contracts electronically, put them together. So whether you're representing a sale or a lease, a landlord, a tenant, a buyer or a seller, commercial or residential property, this platform, zipForms, allows you to be able to go in through your CAR account and be able to grab more or access more than 395 plus CAR forms to buy, sell, lease properties in the state of California quickly and easily, to make your transactional lives a lot easier. So with that said, Leo, take it away.
Great, great. Okay, so we're going to start off with just the basic introduction. And once again, you don't have to be write down every single thing or try to duplicate everything we're doing. It's just, just enjoy the video and we'll answer questions along the way. So we're very patient about that. Here's my contact information, leo@ocrealtors.org. And that's my phone number, 714 area code 375-9313. And my extension number is 239. I'm in the Fountain Valley location where I'm in the office, but every 2 weeks I'll be working out of from home. So we're kind of going back and forth. But in the month of January, we're going to be working there for the full month of January in Fountain Valley. Laguna Hills will be a little bit different. I think Laguna Hills will still be 2 weeks on, 2 weeks from home. So you'll have great individuals there to take care of you. Oh, let's see, go to the next slide. There we go. In today's agenda, we're going to log into zipForms Plus. Well, it's really just zipForms Trends. It's going to be the online version because there's a desktop version. There's the mobile version on your smartphone. But today's class, we're only going to focus on the online version. We're going to create a transaction. We're going to submit it out for signatures. You won't see the whole signing process. That'll be our next class later today at 1:30. This class concludes just a little bit prior to 12:30 because, well, Anthony and myself, our carbon units require lunch to keep on going through the entire day. So we're going to be taking our lunch at 12:30. And then after we do that signing presentation, we're going to also do, in this same class, create and use templates. I'll describe what a template is, and then we'll talk about some additional tools. So for those who are not familiar, your zipForms benefits is a result of being a member with the California Association of Realtors. So a lot of us will say go to car.org, or we'll even say go to car.org. So when you go to car.org, you'll see this individual sitting in a chair, and then to the left of it will be it'll say access realtor secure transactions, and that's what you're going to click to be able to access zipForms. I'm
Cool
struggling
tongue
for some
twister
reason.
this morning, huh, Leo?
I know, my goodness. Once you click that, it goes to the next window, next page, which is a list of different transaction tools, but the one that you're going to be choosing for today's class will be the Access zipForms. When you click Access zipForms, you're going to be required to log in. And of course, if you've never logged in, which is fine, you're going to click the link that says register. So you'll click register, and then you have to identify who you are to verify you have a Realtor membership with us. So you're going to
Now,
be asked, yes, go ahead.
excuse me, Leo. Just real quickly, can you go back a slide?
Sure.
For those of you who may not know,
Whoop.
not ahead. There you go. Go back.
There. Go back. Go back. Go back.
A lot of agents really make the mistake the first time that they go here. They think that their user ID and their password is the same as their MLS user ID and password. So we got to make sure that you create at car.org your own unique username and password. Okay. Even though here at the association at Orange County Realtors, we create your username and password for our website, but also for the MLS system. Here, however, because this is a state benefit, you have to create your own username and password for the state. So this is why Leo is showing you how to register yourself as a user first if you haven't done so. Continue on, Leo.
Yes. So in case you have questions like, oh my gosh, I don't know what my username is. I don't know what my password is. Well, then you would click the link that says forgot username and password. This is, of course, after registering through the CAR website. Once you register and go through the entire process, you can click this at any time in case what your username is. It'll populate what your username is, and then you have to create a new password at that time. So going back to this slide, it's going to be asking for your 9-digit National Realtor Database System ID number. National Realtor Database System ID number is a long thing to say. So we just say it's your NERDS ID number. So you'll often hear that. Now, the 9-digit NERDS number does differ from your 8-digit DRE license number. So it's your DRE license number is what you need to even get to this to apply with us as a member. And then we, as a board, the board assigns you a 9-digit NERDS ID number. This is a number that's unique only to you. So that way you can be able to participate in many of the benefits that are offered to you, whether it's by us, the California Association of Realtors, or the National Association of Realtors. So you'll follow these steps, your 9-digit number, and then you put in your last name, the same last name that's provided to us at the board and that information that populated on our website. And you're going to go through all the 4 steps. So it's going to be sending an email out to your email address that you gave to us. So in case you're wondering, like, what email address is that? Well, you can contact us. We can verify that. Or you can log into our website, ocrealtors.org, and go to the My Account link to look at your profile as well. But this is how California Association of Realtors will be sending you the verification code. And then there'll be, once the agent has received the verification email, you have to input the code. And you'll click Continue. And then you go in and create a username. You can use the same as your MLS ID. It's entirely up to you. But it's something that you're going to create and something you're going to know. And the password, you have to follow the instructions on the password. Mixture of letters and numbers. Don't forget what it is. You could write it down on a Post-it note paper if you wanted to, and it's hard to see. Post-it note paper and stick it on the side of your monitor if need be, or have a book of usernames and password, or use password managers like LastPass, etc. So you can be able to do that. But as long as you have the information handy in case you need to log in, well, when the time arrives, you'll need to log in to zipForms. And next slide is going to be, once you create the username and password, you can be able to sign in now. So you'll input the username, password, and click sign in. So then after you've started the process of clicking that circle that says access realtor secure transactions, and then you go to the next page and click zipForms, you're going to see and you're already enrolled, you're going to click this. It says continue to transactions. So after we click that, you'll be like, you logged into zipForms. Now, for all of you who have logged into zipForms, like, oh, this is easy stuff. I've done this a million times. Well, that's okay. We're just showing the few that didn't know. I'm going to get out of this presentation right now, and I'm just going to, let's go look at the live version of zipForms because they've made some changes to zipForms. Do we have any questions at all regarding what I've just done, how to register, etc. for zipForms?
Please feel free to ask any and all questions.
Oh, this is funny. I can't get out of this.
Hit the escape
Wow.
button. There you go.
Oh, wait, I did. It didn't respond. I was like, whoa. I was going to say, Mayday, Mayday. I don't know what to do in this one, this situation. Okay. Sorry. A little scared.
That's okay.
A little anxiety just kicked in. I was like, what am I going to do? Okay, so here we are, car.org. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. By the way, in case you're wondering, like, how did this person was chosen? We're like, well, you could be that person chosen. You just got to float the mouse over to the person's name. Here we go, Lena Ariza. And then you click submit application, and perhaps you'll be the one in the future to be able to be the person sitting in the chair. So if you want to do that, great. It's free marketing, really. So that way you can market yourself to any agent who's looking at the CAR website.
And Leo, real quickly, Kim asks, where do we get our NRDS number from?
That would be from the board. So whether it's from us, who you signed up with, or a different board that created the NERDS ID number. So you would contact us. We can tell you what your 9-digit number is. And you can reach out to the offices. We're typically taking calls from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, excluding holidays. The last 2 weeks of the month, we'll have limited staff available, and there'll be certain days that we're closed as well, like the 23rd, the 26th, 29th, and 30th.
And Kim, just so you know, if you're an Orange County member and you started your membership with us, that number usually begins with 2055 and then followed up with 5 other numbers. So somewhere in your joining packet, you should have what your NRDS number is, or depending on how long you've been a member, usually NAR, National Association of Realtors, mails you a physical card that's got your NERDS number on it as well. But no matter what, give us a call, 949-586-6800. And membership, anybody in membership should be able to help you get that number right away.
Yes.
And then Cassie asked,
go ahead.
Basically Cassie has asked that Kim email her. So Kim, I'll send you a message with Cassie's email address, and she will email you. She's part of our membership team and education director, and she can get you that number right away. So let me send you a private message.
Yes, Cassie's been around with our association for many, many years. I think she started when she was 6 or something. She hasn't aged a bit. So just blessings to our association for having her, because she knows the process of helping agents renew their license. And she's been working with our education team for longer than I've been working with the association. So it's a huge blessing to have Cassie with us. Can't say enough about her. Yeah, she's probably turning all red right now. Sorry, Cassie, you're awesome. So where was I? Also, I believe that you'll find your 9-digit NERDS number, NERDS ID number, in the My Account link. So when you go to our website, ocrealtors.org, I'll have you take a look at it. The My Account link, you click it, you're going to log in with your username and password, and you can be able to see your 9-digit NERDS ID number. So that's another way of doing it. But yeah, definitely reach out to our dear friend Cassie. She's a good friend to have.
Definitely. So Leo, just to reiterate, you're here at car.org. You moved your mouse over to the big round circle that said Realtor Secure Transactions. You clicked on that, and now how do we access zipForms again?
How do we access it? We click this button that says Access Now under Transaction ZipForm Edition, Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf is the parent company of ZipForms. So you'll see this icon quite a bit, Lone Wolf Transaction ZipForm Edition. So I click that and I have to log in. I have a username, password. Here we go. I'm going to click it. And then waiting for the CAR website to do its magic. And then it clicks here to ask, after I verified my credentials, I'm going to click here to continue. Now, just one thing I need to point out, in other states, when you log into ZipForms, there may be somebody here from a different state, but through our state of California, you're going to log in through the CAR website for your ZipForms. Other states, you go directly to ZipForms website and log in with your credentials. So if you ever are told to log into ZipForms in the ZipForm website, please use your CAR credentials. There's not a ZipForm credential for you. And then also some others, are logging in with a broker edition, which the look and feel may be similar to what we have. There'll be a few things that are different. So, and some of you will be, you'll have that conversation with your brokerage that you've been told that you're using a broker edition. Okay, so enough. I've already logged in to ZipForms, and gosh, I just took a ZipForms class just not too long ago, and they called this the global bar of some sort, but this dark blue bar is what we're going to be looking at. It by default, it comes up as transactions because it gives you a list of your transactions. For me, since I've been practicing quite a bit, I have these fictitious active ones, these fictitious pending ones, and these fictitious closed ones. So all these are listed here, and you're going to be able to filter them if you wanted to in active, inactive, pending, etc. You can see it through there if you want to look at just residential, etc. This class that Anthony and I teach, we normally just teach you the residential scenarios, but there'll be some commercial forms that are available in CAR, just not a lot because most of it's geared toward residential. We'll also look at our dashboard. Our dashboard gives you some information about how many e-signings I have in progress, recent activity. This used to be populated, and I know that they're doing a lot of updates of ZipForms. There we go. And it shows me that all the things I've been working on lately. So in case, if I'm a parent or a grandparent, and sometimes you forget, like, where was I last at when I was working on something? You could take a look here, and it shows you the last things that you're working on. And then there's items here that are the retention periods ending, meaning that there are items here that have been stored for number of years that may be falling off. By ZipForms, it has something called Zip Vault that holds your documents for 7 years. So once that goes to 7 years, they'll give you lots of notifications and lots of opportunities to save it to an alternative site. But make sure whatever site you save it to, or a hard drive or external hard drive, make sure it's secure. Ideally encrypted, so that way no one can be able to take advantage of that information, because ultimately it's your responsibility to take care of that data that belongs to your client. Over here would be forums. It gives you the ability to take a look at the forums. We're going to be touching that later. Doc-in-Box. So Doc-in-Box gives you the capability of giving you a specific email address that's assigned to you, so that way you can give it to an inspector or someone else who's going to send you documents into your transaction. So you can provide this information to say, hey, inspector, I'm going to give you this email address, and it will automatically be sent to a particular transaction. So it's kind of nice. And then there's also, I'm going to skip over to here to help. There's the Learning Center, the in-app guided help, and they are asking for feedback. The in-app guided help is also found down here. So that way, in case you're like, oh my gosh, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, what do I do? You can go through this process if you want to. And by the way, you can also contact ZipForm. ZipLogix, the company that takes care of ZipForms, you can contact them, and I'll give you information about that later. So we are going to create a transaction. So the first transaction I'm going to create is I'm going into clicking new. And after I click new, a dialog window opens up. So I have a choice of either a new listing, a new purchaser offer, a new lease listing, or a quick e-sign. So I'm going to choose the one that says here, new purchase or offer. After I click that, I see that, let me just kind of shrink the page down so you can see all the information. There we go. So I'm going to put in a name. Now, a name of this transaction could be the name of the client. It could be the name of, it could be the address or a combination of both. So I will just make this up. November. Oh wait, today's December. Oh my goodness, December. Oh, how many days to Christmas? There we go, 22. And then I can put in the address, etc. And I'm going to choose residential because I'm focusing on residential on this demonstration. But instead of typing in the address, I'm going to use this tool called MLS Connect. This is one of your free benefits that allows you to link your MLS account over to this. So the first time that you'll have to do this, you're going to have to provide your username and password for CRMLS so that we can link them. But I've already linked it in the past, so I'm going to click MLS Connect. Once again, it's linking to my MLS account. And then I'm going to put in a listing ID. Now I have a fictitious one. No, not a fictitious one, a real one that is closest to the Fountain Valley location. Why? Because in my mind, I'm already dreaming that I bought a house there close to Fountain Valley office, and then I can go there during lunch instead of driving 30 miles each way. So here we go. Now I'm click the find button to have it look into MLS, CRMLS, because that's what I'm using, CRMLS 1. Now it's going into MLS and it's going to populate all this information right here and here. So it'll be just a quick moment. There we go. And then I also click that button that says include property photo. And this is the photo that is on the face of the listing. So it's populated that photo. So I'm going to use that listing. So I click that button. And now all of that looks great. I can choose templates, which we'll talk later. And I can put in comments if I wanted to, but I will leave it empty and then click save. So now the information from MLS has pulled up and populated into this particular offer. I have the listing ID, the
Excuse me,
address.
Leo.
Oh yes, go ahead.
Let's see here. I have John Chang who asked, just signed on to zipForms. How do I get to the dashboard?
Okay, let me back up a little bit. So if you're in zipForms, it's in the far left, this global bar right over here, it says dashboard. And then you just click it.
Can you hit the control plus sign on your keyboard so you can see that dashboard a little bit easier, or the menus?
There we go.
Perfect.
So it's to the left, my left of transactions. So here's transactions, which is the default, and then there's dashboard. There we go. So I have fictitious tasks to do, but I just wanted to have you take a look what it looked like. Now I'm going to zoom back out because I can't see everything here. And I'm going into Charlene Client, Fountain Valley. So here's the information once again from the location that we inputted straight from MLS. It pulled it up, and you even see the APN number right over here. The year built was 1971. Woo, a lot of things have changed in 1971 to now. A lot of other information. You can start inputting information here if you wanted to. Purchase summary, buying side, commission summary, etc. Listing summary, 1.68 million. Oh, and there's homeowner association of $75. Oh, I like reading all the dirt of this, all these details of this listing. It's kind of interesting. Anyways, so next thing we're going to need after we have the summary is now it's going to pull. Now it's going to ask us, okay, who's going to participate in the signing process? So for this demonstration, to just make it easier for everyone, I'm going to delete the listing agents. It's nothing bad. We're just practicing. This is something fictitious. We're demonstrating how to use the software. So it's just myself. And now I'm going to click Buyer 1. Buyer 1 is, you can input the information of your client here. If you were dealing with a trust, you would put the information of the trust all the way down here, but then down on the bottom half of the section would be the signing representative. The signing representative is an individual chosen to sign on behalf of the trust or the LLC or etc. That's going to be purchasing this property. But in my demonstration, it's going to be an individual. So I click the address book. Now, you don't have anything in your address book, but I do because I practice and practice and practice. So for me, I'm going to use this person, Charlene Client, and then I click done. See, that's my client's name. How clever, I know. And then she's going to be representing herself, so I don't need any information down here. Then I click save. So it's just us two, that's all. And then I'm going to put in documents. So there's an archive folder here that eventually items will go in the archive folder, but I need to put forms in here, the forms that I'm going to be working with my client. And where do I find it? The forms will be on the far right where it says all forms. So I click it, and then I'm going to be given choices. I'm going to look here. The first thing is the library, the California Association of Realtors library. So we're going to look here and choose the cover sheet. And I'll tell you why in just a moment. The residential purchase agreement. If I don't know the full name of it, and I could do a search like, for example, oh, there's a agent visual something. Oh yeah, agent visual inspection disclosure. If you are trying to say, oh, what's another form I need? Well, I know the form name. Maybe it's that. Okay, maybe that's what I need. Curious what that is. Seller response and buyer reply to request for repairs, I believe. Okay, so and you can keep on going on. There in your real life scenario, you're going to have a lot of forms. Disclosures are going to be on this transaction. In mine, it's going to be a few. But one thing I do want to show you also is the different libraries as well. So if I look at the different libraries, the one I want you to pay attention to at times will be, for example, the CAR sample libraries. These are documents that were already completed and created by the good friends at the paralegal department at the California Association of Realtors. So they already put this together. Like, for example, here in Orange County, we get Santa Ana winds, especially in Fountain Valley, where some high winds. So sometimes the winds will blow down trees and fences. So I have that in there. And then to just if you want to take a look what that fence repair looks like, I'm going to open up the classic version. There we go. This is something that they put together to make it easier for you to communicate to someone to get that corrected. Yeah, see, there's information there. So you use this to your benefit so that you don't have to go from scratch doing this kind of stuff. It's already created for you. Once again, going to all forms, I'm going to choose a different library, and this will be for the Orange County OC Realtors. So if we click that, you will see here that we have the Orange County Local Area Disclosure Form. That's something that we created by our board of directors for members of our own board, primary and secondary members. So and individuals from other boards won't have access to the form, only we will. In addition, from time to time, you may want to work with a client that says, let's not exactly put the listing into MLS yet. In the MLS file, the CRMLS, gosh darn it, I can't even talk. The California Regional Multiple Listing Services, you're going to find the seller instructions to place in a CRMLS. And that's right here, coming soon status. In case you're wondering what it looks like, I'm going to go into the older version, and it looks like that. And of course, you would follow the instructions on how to complete it. There's a lot more forms that you would use in a given situation. In your scenario, if you accidentally put in too many, you're like, oh, but I didn't need this one. You can always delete it by clicking the drop-down button and clicking delete. Or you can click this button, and then all these little icons appear. So once again, if I click that, all these different icons appeared, and the one you want to choose is delete. And then it says your brokerage settings may prevent you from deleting certain types of documents. That's okay. In this one, if we're an individual. Good, it's gone. So these are the forms I'll be using for this transaction. There's also checklists. If you start doing a checklist, you can create a checklist like how you're going to follow up on certain dates. You would do so by clicking New Checklist. That's probably a more advanced tool to look at, but you would go through those steps to create a checklist. I don't do that stuff because unfortunately, I'm not an active realtor. I'm a staff member, just like Anthony. And that's one thing I forgot to mention. We're both staff members with the Orange County Realtors. So we can help you with the software. We just can't answer any legal questions for you because we're not professionally trained to answer those type of questions. But we can definitely show you how to use the software. So once again, we've one of the first things that we had to do was create a transaction. Here it is. So if we review the transaction, we have the summary of the information. We can complete it at if it's a real life situation, we would complete this section, and it would auto populate to everything that in the documents that's pertinent, the individuals involved, and the documents that are going to be used. And the cover sheet. Why do we use a cover sheet? Let me just show you in the classic edition.
And real quick, Leo, we've got a couple of questions here.
Go ahead.
Kim Abrams asks, is there a reference or list for required docs in a transaction? And I can easily answer that one for you. Kim, unfortunately, there is in the list of all forms, there is a purchase checklist. But what you want to do is talk to your broker or office manager to ask them what required documents they want for their files for every transaction. Now, depending on your broker, you'll usually give you a list of required forms for every transaction. So like if you're representing a buyer, they'll tell you you need the purchase agreement, this form, that form, the other form, right? If you're representing the seller, you need the listing agreement plus XYZ other forms and disclosures. So they'll give you that list, and just ask your broker or office manager for that list. Now, Parker asked Leo, is there a way to print or save the forms without having to create a transaction?
Ooh, these are good questions. Let's see. Let's experiment with great timing, by the way, for everyone attending this class. Last November 15th, they rolled out with this new form editor. So Anthony and myself, we're going to be playing with this, and well, frankly, I think it's the right thing to do is teach you this new forms editor. Yeah, let's try to do this. Okay, so parties involved. We'll have to put some parties involved.
Well, yeah, you have to create a transaction, Parker.
Mhm.
You can't just download blank forms. The system, because of copyright requirements, do require that that the forms be in a transaction and that there must be at least a property address and at least a client's name typed on a form. So you have those two major requirements set forth by CAR that you need to do. So, or else you can't download the form. Now, if you do try to download it without that information, then what's going to be written right across the form is the word sample. So for learning purposes, with that word sample written right across the form, if you try to download it, is unusable. So you won't be able to write up a viable contract necessarily and have somebody sign that type of form. Does that help, Parker? Sorry, Leo.
No, it's fine because honestly, this is the first time I've tried this. So if the computer doesn't explode, then everything's gonna be fine.
Oh, good. And Parker
Uh,
says, yes, that does. Awesome. Thanks, Parker.
Good. So, okay, so I'll leave it at that, and then you can go into forms. It looks good. I don't need to add any forms. Parties are fine. Print. Oh my gosh, no, let's not do print. Let's do download first. Just curious. To continue this action, you must save this form to a transaction. Would you like to create a new transaction from this form? Oh, okay, got it. So you have to create a transaction, just like you said. But I was looking for the prompt of saying you need to do a transaction. So you can go through this route through forms, but it's just easier to go through the structured way of doing, hey, just do a transaction. Do you want to save your changes? No. I'm already working on a wonderful transaction right now with Charlene Client. Let's see, Charlene. Charlene. There we are. So we've created our transaction, and that was one of our goals, to create a transaction. See, there we go. Parties, Charlene, and documents. Now, one thing to also point out is that when we do any digital signatures, you want to first have a conversation with all parties involved to make sure they're comfortable using digital signatures. More importantly, your client has to be comfortable using digital signatures. They have to have access to some kind of email address. They'll have to have access to a computer. So if they're comfortable, have an email address and are comfortable to access through a computer, then by all means. If it's not a computer, an iPad, tablet of some sort, they could use a phone, but I highly recommend a screen big enough for them to be able to read the information on there. Because once again, you're sending a document over to them, and your responsibility for fiduciary duty is to make sure you go over that information with them. So that way you're never accused of being an individual who's had a client sign a transaction and did not discuss what the terms were. And yes, so that way you don't get sued. So that's that. So you know what? Since we're here, why don't we do electronic signature? Oh, by the way, I was going to say the cover sheet. The purpose of the cover sheet that Anthony and I love is that you can be able to input a lot of information on that cover sheet, and then it auto-populates to all the pertinent forms that are part of your transaction. So that's the reason why we recommend to start off with the cover sheet every time you do a transaction. If you open we're going to open this in the new form editor, because frankly, I need to learn it too. And I've spent some time on it, and it is interesting. So we start off with, here's the cover sheet. So there's one document there. There is another document that you can either drag it up there, or you can click it. I think you can, and add it. Gosh darn it. Oh, I can go to the Forms library and do it. No, let's not be a dork. I'm going to grab it and put it up there. Agent visual inspection, I don't need that. Orange County local area disclosure. Yeah, let's do that. Let's put it up there. Come on, it doesn't look clean. There we go. Cover sheet, RPA. Get rid of that check mark. And if there's any other documents that you want to add, let's say in your kind of scenario, your broker has said, okay, I need you to add here's the form that you need to be included every time you have a transaction. So if you have a PDF, it only works with PDFs. You have to have it on your computer, and you can upload it. So my desktop has too many dang files on there, but I do a lot of work for everybody. Take care of my agents. Listing agreement form B. You'll see that it's a fictitious document that we put together. It's just to show you how to use the software. That's all. Okay, so we have documents, we have parties, there's the parties, we have listing information, see, listing information. So those are the three requirements to be able to do a signing. So if I were to do so, I can click prepare signing. I'm doing so. And then I am not going to use the older version of electronic signature of Digital Ink 2.0. I'm going to use this new AuthentiSign. By the way, for those of you who use DocuSign, you can use DocuSign if you wish. I'll show you how to do that in the settings before we let you go, which I'm sorry that I skipped that, but I'm going to show you that after I do this signature process. Now I'm going to send this to new AuthentiSign, because we're eventually going to have to look at this. And let me cancel it first. Because one thing I remembered was the forms. I cannot do anything for my client cannot do anything in this particular form. The cover sheet is for my benefit. So I'm going to remove this from the workspace. It's still part of the transaction, but I'm removing it from the workspace. So now my clients can be able to sign. They have to do some kind of action on all these pages. So if I do prepare signing, send to new AuthentiSign, and then the signing name, I'm going to use, instead of that, I'll be using client demo. Client Fountain Valley demo. And then I can put if I already have a folder in my transaction that I've created because I like folders, with certain names, or you have multiple offers or whatever, you can create a folder already before doing this, but I don't have one, so it's okay. It's going to put it in the main folder. So I click create. How satisfied are we feeling? Well, you know what? Let's just talk about that later. I'll let you know at the very end. Yes, this is a new way of doing forms. So ZipLogic, ZipForms is still trying to gauge how your experience is using this new forms editor. But I definitely recommend that you practice sending fictitious transactions over and over to yourself. So that way you see the information from the agent side and then also from the client side.
Hey, Leo, real quickly, Mary Grant asks, when you have when you have your listing forms on the computer, do you print them and have the client sign, or is is this all electronic signatures now?
The
So
answer
basic,
is
yeah.
yes, you can do printing if you wanted to, but I'm not doing the printing demo. You can either print it and then walk it over to your client or mail it to your client to have them sign with a pen. Or what I'm demonstrating is how to do electronic signatures on a computer or a tablet for them to be able to sign it.
So Mary, it's a choice. So there are times where your clients may want you to physically sign on the forms. There will be times where maybe the client's out of town, say maybe they're in Rome and they're not giving you a plane ticket to go to Rome to get the contracts physically signed. Well, this is where electronic signatures can help out. So it's a choice. Electronic signatures are widely adopted nowadays, really easy to use, as Leo is demonstrating, but it's still ultimately a choice.
Very true. I mean, because if they're not comfortable using a computer, say like my mom has an email address. She doesn't know it. She hasn't checked it in months. So she'll be the kind of person who would not be the right person that we would have for electronic signatures. So if we had an agent representing my mom in a real estate transaction, that person would actually have to print out the documents and take them over to my mom and have her sign it. So she's the kind of old school individual, but some people are just more comfortable that way. So we're in this screen here. It's asking us what signers are we going to have? Are we going to have signers that it's myself? I'd say don't do that. Add new, don't do that. Add from the transaction, and if you choose anything else but add from the if you choose from add from a transaction, you're fine. Excuse me. If you choose another option, you're going to be the one responsible for dragging and dropping signatures, initials, check boxes, etc., because you're not part of the original transaction. But if you choose the transaction, you already have a role chosen in that transaction, so you don't have to do anything additional. You save a lot of time and energy if you go from the transaction. That's why it's so important to put in the parties who's going to be participating in a transaction. So if I click add from transaction, there's the two individuals. In this demo, we're going to just choose Charlene and then click select. And then the documents that I want her to sign. Yeah, this one. If I didn't want one of them, or if I want to choose in a different order, I can do that. If I want to add additional forms, I can do that. This is fine. It'll be my responsibility as an agent to go through these forms and make sure that everything's okay. So if something was not completed, like it didn't auto-populate, because this is pretty accurate about populating over 95% of the things that the agent has to do, client has to do, or whoever has to sign it in the transaction. But sometimes there's something that is not done. So like, let's say I see that this box here has to be checkmarked. It's just me, I want that because it's required in my world, it's required because I'm just showing how to use the software. If I go through this, and I can go through all these pages and pages, but I'm not going to do that, except I want to go to the very last one. This one is that fictitious document that we threw in here. And once again, it's blank. It's entirely blank because there's something that we are responsible for loading signatures and initials, etc. So if I need initials, click initial page. Do medium, bottom, left, that's fine. Place initials. Okay. You need to choose one signer. Oh yeah, I'm so sorry, I can't read. My bad. Place initials. You need to at least one document. Okay, listing agreement. That's fine. Okay, now if I wanted to say get initials on this document, let's just throw initials right here. I know it's not the right thing in this document, but I'm just showing how to use the software. Signature, sign right there. The date, I will move the date up to here. So it auto-populates the date. That's kind of nice. Person's full name. Let's put it right, click it, and then drag and drop. So you're going to see that. I'm going to put it over here. So you'll see that it's easier for me to just do this. Email address, I'll stick it right there. Oh, you know, throw a date up there too, auto date. There we go. So I can go through this document and drag and drop things that I need to. If I needed to mark things, I can be able to do that, but I can just simply click right here, move it up, and then type in, let me click, I'm going to enter Fountain Valley. Oops, I already have CA at the end of it. Not Fountain Valley, but Fountain Valley. And then you see there he is. So we're going to now send it out, and then eventually our dear friend Charlene will get an email saying, hey, you have documents to sign. Our next class, we're going to demonstrate how to use that. By the way, you have the ability to control the date that you want this person to sign it. So if you're having a conversation with this individual, I'm not going to give this person a month. I want this done ASAP. And then send a reminder, I don't have to do that. And I can customize the invite, and I click send, and it's on its way out. So our dear friend Charlene will get that email shortly, and she can be able to log in and be able to do the signature process. But you want to make sure that you're having a conversation with your client to make sure that they are aware not to sign anything until you go over that information with them. So that is log into zipForms, create a transaction, submit out for signatures. So those are the things we've always showed you. Before I tackle the templates and additional tools, I want to look at me, the center of the universe. Me. I tell that to my 10-year-old. Me, I'm the center of the universe. And he just rolls his eyes. So if I click me, you want to look at that, make sure this information is correct. If anything looks like it needs to be altered, that's not a problem. You can click profile and settings. And by the way, my image will not be on your profile. There'll be a gray image. You click it, you can be able to you can pull an image from your computer and populate it into that area. So you can make sure it's a professional image because it's going to be seen by clients, agents, etc., whoever you're going to be corresponding with using zipForms. So make sure it's an appropriate image to use. Once I click me and click profile and settings, I can now go in to make sure that my information is correct. So if I look here, I'm like going, oh, it's my old email address. Let me fix that. And all the information is correct there. I want to put my license number. You could put your license number there if you wish. Email signature. I highly recommend that you create an email signature. This is something you have to create. I did sincerely. I changed the fonts and made it all nice and pretty. I put in my company information, contact information, my DRE license number. If I had a DRE license number, I put it there. And then I click save. Because any changes I make here is going to be populated from this point forward to any new documents that I create. Another thing that I want to point out to you is if you transfer from one office to another, sometimes we do, then you want to make sure this information is correct. And if it's not, you can change it. But this change can only occur when we at the board make the change to your profile in the NAR database. Otherwise, if you make the change here, it's not going to stick. So there we go. I just corrected the name of our office because while our old name was the Orange County Association of Realtors, we changed it to Orange County Realtors. And then we can go through, there's a lot of other things to show you, but one thing is by default, I have it set up for DocuSign, Digital Ink, and AuthentiSign. I'm going to use the AuthentiSign for this demonstration, but DocuSign is a paid service. It's not free, but it's a paid service. It's roughly $240 to $300 a year to be able to take advantage of the equivalent of what we have offered for free from zipForm. Once again, you can use Authentisign or Digital Ink 2.0. Either one is free, but eventually Digital Ink 2.0 is going to go away and it'll be just new Authentisign. Another thing I want you to take a look at would be in this little window here. Let me zoom in a little bit. Transaction preferences. So the preference is that when you first log in and look at this spot, it'll say off. It'll say off. The time interval for transaction autosave. What that means is that by turning it off, it won't autosave documents for whatever you're typing into zipForms. I'm a little bit older. I used older computers when I was a kid in high school, and I had run into a few situations where whatever I typed up that I spent like maybe an hour working on it, and then all of a sudden, poof, the computer just reset out of nowhere. Everything I typed in just disappeared because it wasn't saved on the hard drive. So because of that pain in my past, I now have it at 5 minutes. So if there's something that happens with a problem with the computer that resets for whatever reason, I lose signal or whatever, no problem. The only thing that I'll miss out on will be just the last 5 minutes of whatever I typed in. And more than likely, I can be able to recover, just retype that information in. It's a lot easier to deal with 5 minutes rather than, oh gosh, full hour or whatever. So, and there's a lot of information there that you can go through on your own. And then let me click save. Any changes I do here, I have to save it. And then notification settings. There we go. I was watching a video and they emphasized that you have to pay attention to the notification settings because you want to turn these on that's appropriate for you, because you want to be notified if you set up a task or a checklist that you need to be notified, you want to be communicated through email perhaps or through the app. There is a zipForm mobile app, zipForm mobile companion that you can use in your tablet, I recommend. Not really the phone because it's really hard to read all the reading on a small screen, but on a tablet it's easier to read and you can always show it to your client if you're doing a listing presentation right at the client's home. So I would recommend a good sized tablet to be able to share that. So zipForm mobile companion. And then you can go through doc and box notifications, transactions, etc. You can go through this entire process. So they really did emphasize to turn these notifications on so that way you're communicated every time something happens to any transaction you're working on. Ooh, that was a mouthful. That was all about settings. Okay, so any questions before we cover templates? Because I am all ears about any questions that you may have about templates. Let's see. Oh, let me open up this beautiful window.
So
Yes.
far, I don't see any questions other than what is a template?
Template. Question
And how
of the
does that
day.
differ? How is that different from a transaction?
Well, template will save you time and energy and drama. Just my opinion. So save drama for somebody else, but you don't want drama, and save energy because we're trying to conserve energy. So I click template. Now, what is a template? Now, a template, I have one here, but a template is, and I'll show you, purchase offer in Orange County. So if I'm an agent who does represent quite a number of buyers, or if I do a probate, I can do something like this. But in my example, I have a template, a list of forms. These forms here that I'm going to be using for my future transactions. Now, these are the most common forms in my world that I use in transactions. Your world may be different, but these are the forms that I use in my world to do transactions. So every time I go into transactions, I create a new transaction, a new purchase offer, I can be able to take advantage of that template that I have here, and it will populate all those forms there. Now, how do we create a template? because in your world, you'll be like, hey, there's no templates here. There's nothing here. It's blank. Let's create one. So I'm going to create one. So I'm going to create new purchaser offer. We're going to rename it. It's going to be a variation of what we just did. OC offers. OC offers. And then here's some choices. It'll be residential, by the way, residential category. So I can either automatically apply this template to all new transactions. So my role as an agent with my brokerage is I only do offers and nothing's going to change. And this is perfect for me. If my role as an agent is different than that, but every time I do a new transaction, I'm going to apply this template to purchase residential new transactions every single time, then that's fine. But I like to have more of the self-control because I want to be able to say, you know what? I want to be able to be the one to choose which template to use in a given scenario because it's not hard. It's really a simple process. And if I want to pull old templates to a new template, I can do that, but let's just keep it simple. We're going to create a brand new, fresh, clean template in this demonstration. So do not automatically apply this template to new transactions. Let me control that choice. So first step is, there's no documents here. We got to put documents. Okay, so let's go take a look. Click all forms and we go into our California Association of Realtors library. I choose my cover sheet because I like the cover sheet because I like that it populates all the information to all the other documents. I'm going to throw in Avid, Agent Visual Inspection. I'll throw that in there. Why not? Throw in, name one, Anthony. Give me one to throw in.
Well, besides the Avid,
Oh yeah, throw me one.
let me think. Did you grab the purchase agreement? You did.
Yes.
Oh, oh gosh, the repair request.
Oh yes, indeed. R. It used to be just 2 R's. Now it's 3 R's. Okay, and then we can also choose a different library. We can go to the Orange County Library, and we're going to throw in the Orange County Local Area Disclosure. You can keep on going on. If you need to throw on that document that we have from our computer, just add doc by clicking the link clicking this icon says add doc. I can go through all these different choices, Google Drive, Dropbox, Box, OneDrive. If my forms are from my brokerage or from there, I can definitely pull it and put it into this template. I can put a placeholder for future saying, oh, this will be a place where I'm going to put a certain document. But I'm going to look for that same document that I've been picking on for some years. Listing Agreement Form B. There it is. I could put a description, but no description necessary. See, it's right there. Now, once again, all documents that I'm going to have for signing has to be a PDF. So I put it there. So this will be part of my template. And so in the future, if I ever need to do, and you can do auto sign templates. I haven't played with that yet. That's going to be on my to-do list for this year, before the end of this year. Parties, I'm not going to put any parties because I don't have an investor I'm going to be sending out documents to on a regular basis. I'm going to leave it open. So any future parties, any individual, I can take advantage of this template. Because otherwise, if I choose a particular party, the information of this individual is going to populate onto this from this template every single time I use it. And I have to clean it out, and I don't want to do that. I don't want drama. I want to keep it easy. So I go back to my list. OC offers, that's the newest one I created. And then I go to transactions. So if I create a new transaction, a new purchaser offer, let's just say I'm going to use Alex, Fountain Valley. And I'm going to still use same MLS listing ID. OC 2224835. I'm just choosing it as an example. It was one of the active listings in MLS closest to the Fountain Valley location. I'm not endorsing this. It's just for demo purposes. So, and I have high-speed internet, mind you, so it may take a little bit longer for it to pull the information right from CMLS and put it in here. I'm using that listing, and now here is the choice of templates. I choose my templates, I choose personal OC offers, and then I click save. Once I click save, the property, see, I made that error on purpose. Transaction property type is required. See, left it open. And then I click save. You're going to be making that mistake, trust me. So it's going to be a very common mistake. So just be aware of it. Okay, so information pulled right from MLS. Skip parties, look at documents. Ooh, that's interesting. Hello.
Did it
And
not? It didn't add your. So try applying the template again.
well, that was interesting. Okay, let's go again. Click it. That put egg on my face. Okay, once again, I click apply template. You saw just right a second ago. And I click that and I clicked apply. Okay, by the power
Sometimes
of the internet, I click documents and ta-da, there we are. Well, let me just wipe this egg off my face. I can be able to see clearly now. So we have all the documents here that we chose. If there was one that I didn't need, for example, agent visual inspection, I can always choose that once again and delete it. Are you sure? Like, yes. And once again, the purpose of the templates is to use these forms that you commonly use for transactions that you do over and over again, but also use templates. Let me go click templates. But also use the templates for unique transactions you're going to do in the future. Like perhaps in the future, you're going to be doing a probate. You're going to do a short sale, a foreclosure. So there's specific documents that you want to put in there that you can be able to apply when the need arises. So it may not happen 3 or 4 years from now. That's fine. Go ahead and put it in there. These documents that'll be in these templates, these will update because every once in a while, CAR does update those forms, disclosures, etc. They will update it maybe perhaps once or twice a year, or maybe more, sometimes more. During the pandemic, we had more updates. But if it does update, it will populate the most current form in these templates. It won't populate the most current form in an active transaction that you're working on, as well as pending ones or anything that's already been created. So this will be the most up-to-date form will be in these templates. So that's something exciting to know about. So, whew, got me a little nervous there. I didn't think it was going to work. I was like, oh no, I hashtag failed right in front of everybody. Anyways, so we're going to look at using additional tools. So some tools that I want to point out would be, let's go into this particular one. I forgot to put in parties. Well, I didn't really forget. Okay, hey, Kin, I'm going to delete you because it just makes it easier to see the screen. No offense. And I can do that because I'm practicing. In my real life, in this scenario, I'm practicing because I'm wanting to show you how to use the software. Your scenario, you may or may not want to have the listing agent there, but that'll be up to you. You can do so, it doesn't hurt it. I'm
well,
using,
Leah, sometimes you don't have a choice because, like on the purchase agreement, it
yep,
requires the opposite party
yes,
or the other agent on the other side their name on the contract. So, um, in this case, even though you don't need the listing agent to sign the contract, you need your clients and you to sign the contract. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry about taking out the listing agent.
yeah. For me, it's just showing you how to use the software. That's all it is, showing you how. So my two peeps, myself, Alex Alexander, my documents, and then what was I going to show you? Oh, let me add one more form. Let's go with, where is it? The one I deleted. I want to put it back on there again. There's something I want to show you. Okay, thank you. And it's down here. Um, Oh, oh. Before I say it, I want to see if I can do it. So this is the agent visual inspection. One thing I do want to point out is that when you put in information, just make sure you use appropriate language. Make sure that, like, for example, if you see a stain on the floor, make sure that you're saying it's a stain on the floor. You don't want to say a water stain, because did you do a chemical analysis to make sure it was a water stain? Perhaps not a water stain. Perhaps somebody was a chemist there and spilled, oops, some kind of other liquid bad stuff on the ground by accident. You know, it could be spaghetti. I don't know. And they just cleaned up horribly. So you could just leave it as stain. There is something. We haven't figured this out yet, Anthony, have we? How to put an image on there.
That feature is not available in the new method just yet.
Curses. Okay, fine. We don't want to practice then. Okay, so I was going to show that, but that's okay. That's fine. I'm not going to cry about it.
You can show it in the classic edition.
Yes. I like the classics. Okay, so the agent visual inspection. Open it in Forms Editor Classic, which is eventually going to go away. See, the layout's different. There's no tools here that we're looking at. They had it on the top. So I'm going to scroll down to what I want to share with you. Okay, so over here, I put stain near window. Oh no, near patio door entrance. I think that's what it looked like. And you're like, oh, what does that mean? Well, let me describe with photos. Why do we use photos? Photos are beautiful. They tell more. So I'm going to attach a photo. I'm looking for the photo. No, don't go there. So formulated and stain. Okay, stain. That's it. Kept it simple. What do I mean by stain? If I look at, I'm going to drag it right there because I want it to be part of the living room section. If I want to take a look at it, what do I mean by that particular stain? I'm hitting preview on the top bar, scrolling down. See, stain near patio door, photo 1. Great, thank you for letting me know it's one photo. Here is that stain. So to me, in my scenario, this was a patio door. It's not a real patio door. I know it's a window, but you could see that there's some kind of damage to the wood. You could say that's damage to the wood if you wanted to. You could say it's some kind of stain on the window. Excuse me, on the wood. So just keep it general, so that way you're not going to be accused of providing false information. Because if you say, oh, it's a water spill, you're like, well, I don't think so, because it actually was, perhaps it was spaghetti. Like I said, somebody spilled spaghetti in the corner. That party was, out of hand that day, and so on. You can also, another example would be bathroom 1. Toilet is unusable. You're like, well, that's a weird one. What do you mean by that? Let me show you with a photo. Attach a photo, attach, and I will demonstrate that. Half bath wrong. Image is up here, so I make sure you're on the same page. And there we go. Because otherwise, if you're kind of like stuck here between the two, it may put the image up there and you can't bring it down. It'll be stuck on this form, or this page, as I say. So make sure it's on this page when you're adding photos. Once again, we preview this. If I can say it correctly, we're previewing this. And I scroll down to, oh, I know we went pretty fast. Toilet is unusable. Okay, I'm going down a little bit, a little slow. I saw that beautiful image. And now here's a half bath, unusable. You're like, whoa, that's weird. Yes, it is weird, because guess what? You can't use that. Somebody made a boo-boo when they did something there. So it's an unusable half bath wrong. So no, no, no. So these are examples of a tool that you can use. Another tool that you can use and take a look at would be, let me go back into transactions and we look here. We're going to talk about clause manager in our last class, but mortgage calculator. Now, mortgage rates have gone up. Let's say right now it's 7, actually, no, let's say it's 8.25. The loan amount we'll say is 550,000, and it's going to be over the course of 360 months. So let's find out how much it's going to be, assuming all these are zero. Homeowner insurance, property tax, mortgage insurance, other loan expenses, etc. So the monthly payment will be $4,131.97 on a $550,000 loan. Oh, okay, that's, that's for some people it's doable. So let me show you what it looks like on a table here. 2023 on a table starting with December. So starting with December, 550, 360,000, 8.25. So if I scroll all the way down, you'll see that on this $550,000 loan, the individual paid $937,503.82 worth of interest. Yes, they paid a little bit more interest than they paid than the what was the amount of the original loan, kind of how it works. So if you're like, wow, interest rates have gone up, that 1 point or 2 points or 3 points, percentage points, you know what, that does make a difference, because if you think like, okay, well, not long ago, it was maybe perhaps 6.25, and before that, it was in the threes. So if we calculate that, it's now the payment's $3,386.44. If we show that same display table, we'll show you that, yes, instead of being 900 and some thousand dollars of interest that you paid, it's $669,000 of interest you paid for a $550,000 loan. So this really helps you have that conversation with your client to be able to find out what they can be able to afford. If they are in a spot in their finances that they can be able to afford $3,386.44 comfortably, then this probably is what you're looking for, a target amount is with these terms. But you want to discuss that with them and also involve other professionals to help them find the home of their dreams. Oh, that's so beautiful. But so that's just an example of a tool that you can use. Another tool that you can use, I'll talk about quickly because we got about 16 minutes, is Forms Advisor and Forms Tutor. Forms Advisor is a questionnaire. So it asks you a lot of questions. It'll be as though you're sitting a round table of individuals from the paralegal department. They're going to be asking you questions, and you have to answer these questions. So if I create a new one, say Alex in Fountain Valley, I call this particular one. Who do you represent? Seller? No, I don't. Specific buyer. And you can go through these question at a time. Are you agree to allow the listing site to be? I'm not doing a listing though. I'm doing an offer. There we go. There you go. So there we go. Seller specific buyer. Okay, so if I wanted to go through this, I go through page by page, and then once I answer these questions, I click accept selected answers. And once again, is this property new construction? No. That's my guess. So you go through these questions. I could spend the time and go over this with you, but no, they'll take too long. So if I go over each page, I'll just quickly go through this. Accepted, accepted. Don't you dare do this in a real life scenario.
Well, what's nice about something like this is that if for those of you who are brand new, maybe you come across a weird situation or weird transaction where you're just not sure exactly what forms you need, and maybe your broker or office manager aren't available, then Forms Tutor, or I'm sorry, Forms Advisor allows for you to answer a set of legal questions. And then based on your answers, as Leo is showing here, will tell you some recommended forms or give you the recommended forms based on the answers to your questions, which is really nice, right, Leo?
Correct. So if I were to click this button that says get recommended forms, then these are the forms that they recommend based on the questions that were asked of me. And by the way, you can use these forms in your scenario. Maybe you don't need the fair housing discrimination advisory. I don't know. But you can include it with the transaction. You can always delete it later when you find out after that conversation with either your brokerage broker or mentor or the CAR legal hotline that you can reach out to. One thing to also pay attention, that's also you emphasize quite a bit, Anthony, is the photo and video agreement and release. So
Mm-hmm.
that is something that you definitely want to spend a little bit extra time to take a look at, because any photos that are attached to a listing or any videos attached to a listing, you definitely want to research and do your homework on it. So if you were to click this sample form for the PDF icon, normally it would show you what the image looks like, but of course, more egg on the face, it did not.
It happens.
And don't feel bad, it happens, it's software. But it's supposed to show you a preview of the image of the icon. And I guess for right now it's not working, but I'm not going to cry about it. I'll wait till 12:31 p.m. and cry about it later. And there's links to the Q&As. So if you have questions about the addendum, for example, then it will, maybe because it times me out. That's probably what it was. I can be able to look at this is different. This is far different. So what it's showing you here, instead of what I wanted to show you, it's showing you the paralegal department, the 213-739-8282. That's the paralegal department in case you have any legal
And,
questions.
and it's not paralegal, Leo, it's the legal department.
I'm sorry, I keep saying paralegal because I've been watching like some Law and Order kind of stuff on TV, and it's just like I'm only watching the lawyers, and yeah, my bad, my apologies. So it's a member legal services department. It's the legal department. So reach out to them if you have any questions that are regarding a contract, disclosure, etc. They'll be more than happy to assist you. Wow, that was fun and exciting. So there's a link of Q&As that can be able to assist you if it works. So preview, which will definitely show you it should work. You go through all those forms and you can be able to populate it into your transaction. And if you need to create a new transaction, you can be able to do so by clicking this. Let's see if it works. I know it's going to work. Setting positive vibes, feeling the good vibes, and then watching it go to the other side. It's going to happen. I think it will. And then I refresh it. There we go. Of course it would work. Why would you doubt me on that one? How dare you? And then there's all the documents there. So if I wanted to, these are all the documents that have auto-populated from the Forms Advisor. Okay, that was exciting and new. Let's try a look at Forms Tutor. So if I click Forms Tutor, this is far less hectic than the Forms Advisor. I'm sure, I have great confidence this will work just fine. This is found on the CAR website under Transaction Center, I believe, and there it is, Forms Advisor, Forms Tutor. But we're there. And see, here we go, scroll past Forms Advisor, and Forms Tutor is right here. So if I click it, now the purpose of the Forms Tutor helps you educate how to complete or how to understand certain sections of a tool, for example. So let's say if we look at the RPA, Residential Purchase Agreement, comes in different pages, 1 through 4 here, 5 through 9. Why is it down there? I don't know. 10 through 14 and 15 through 16. So if we were to go through this first section and take a look at it, the RPA, and this is probably one of the documents you'll be taking a look at most, you'll see these little blue dots. No, it's not chickenpox. No, no, no. These are little spots to help you understand. So if I click here, I can read along to what the Sierra Legal Hotline has put together on how to understand what this particular form is for. So is a document which details the buyer's offer for a seller's California real property. You can read that all the way through. But one thing I do want to highlight to you or point out to you would be this little icon. It's the play button. So when you're at home, you can definitely, or in office, you can click this. I don't know if you can hear this or not.
No, Leo, you have to share your sound.
So if I wanted to share my sound, which I'll figure out
Go
in
back,
just a
go back under share screen, and then there should be a little checkbox at the bottom left corner.
sure. It can't be under more.
Nope.
Why? Oh wait, there it is. Share sound.
There you go. Now hit play.
Okay, cross your fingers.
Buyer's offer for a seller's California real property.
Can we hear that?
Once the buyer's
Mhm.
offer is accepted, the
Yep.
RPA becomes the primary document.
So if you're someone like myself who can be able to read, yes, thank you, Mom and Dad, and then also has decent hearing, I enjoy reading and having somebody read along with me, reading this to me, so I can be able to use two sensory organs to be able to pound this information into my head. So I think that's a benefit for myself as well as for many of you. So definitely take advantage of it. So it's here. The blank line should be completed with the date the form is prepared by the real estate licensee, etc. You can read all the way through, or you can just do this.
The blank line should be completed with the date the form is prepared by the real estate licensee. The purpose of this line is to make it easy to refer back to the RPA when inserting an addendum, counteroffer, or any other form into the transaction.
Anthony, I don't know why your voice is not there. It should be there.
Oh no.
So this is part of Forms Tutor. Now, not every form is going to be within Forms Tutor. Roughly about 40 forms will be there, the 40 most popular forms. So you're not going to see every single form that's going to be here. So take a look at it, take some time and enjoy it. Any other questions?
Are there any questions about anything that Leo went over today?
And I know we covered a lot, and I do. It's quite a lot of material, but it's somewhat hard to digest. But it's okay. If you have questions, great. If you have questions that don't arise today and it comes later, go ahead and email us. You can email us, and then you can also call us. Anthony, are you working the last 2 weeks of this beautiful month of December?
I'm not sure. I think so. I can't. I'm not looking at my calendar at the moment.
I can tell you Leo is not. My apologies. Because the Fountain Valley location will be closed for the last 2 weeks of this month. We'll have limited staff available working at our Laguna Hills facility. So if you have any questions, you want to reach out to whoever's working down there in Laguna Hills, or you can reach out to, in case you have questions about zipForms, you can reach out to CAR for assistance. Wow, what class are we teaching today? Supra? No, zipForms. Thank you very much. So let me get to that in. Yes?
Now, Julian says, this was perfect. Thank you so much. Happy holidays.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. This really does matter to all of us because we know that the classes that are offered to you that we teach is a result of feedback from yourselves that have told us like this is the kind of materials that we want to be taught. So here, one last thing before we let you go is help is available. zipForm support videos and guides. And then there is the CAR support number 213-739-8227. And then you also can look at ZipLogix. ZipLogix is the one that's taking care of the zipForm software. So they're open Monday through Friday, 24 hours, weekends, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. our time, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. East Coast. And that's their phone number, 586 area code 840-0140. And the CAR legal hotline is 213-739-8282. And if you have another question about Lone Wolf, you can contact Lone Wolf Support 866-279-9653 option 1. And we have more additional information found on our website. And I'm going to show you where it's at. Because myself and Anthony, we put together some wonderful videos. Actually, it's more him than me. He puts all the hard work. I'm just
Not
like,
at all. That's a team effort, Leo.
He works so hard. It's not even funny, even though he just left a moment ago. So under education, I floated my mouse over education and looked at video library. So I click video library, and you will watch a lot of our videos, but if you scroll down here, you're going to see zipForms, and you're going to see all the lists of our YouTube channels in a moment. Thank you. Yes, a list of our videos we put together for zipForms. So for example, intro to zipForms, our February class, you can watch that as well. The next class that we're going to cover is digital signatures, which will be at 1:30, and we have an older version of it there. And then tools and tips from the past will be found here. So you can watch these videos over and over again until you fall asleep like I did to learn how to use zipForms. Anything else you want to add, Mr. Anthony?
Nope, not at all. And I want to thank everybody for attending today's webinar. I hope you all enjoyed it today. I hope you learned lots of great stuff. Again, we are recording today's class, so hopefully everybody will get a copy of today's recording. But if you do have any questions, feel free to either contact us or email us. Again, my email address is Tony, Tony, at ocrealtors.org.
And if you need to reach me, you can reach me at leo@ocrealtors.org, and my phone number is 714-375-9313, and my extension number is 239. If you put in 104, that's Anthony. He can be reached at, same thing. And same thing with Fountain Valley. I mean, Laguna Hills. If you call Laguna Hills, you're like, oh, I called Laguna Hills by accident. No problem. Just hit 239, you get to me. So with that being said, we thank you for joining us today. And if you are registered for the next class, we're going to start at 1:30. So we're going to go get a bite to eat, and we'll be right back to assist you with your many questions and demos that we'll have for you regarding zipForms.
Have a great day, everybody. And if we don't see you, happy holiday.
Yes. Happy holidays, Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.